Hi, this is Dr. Frank with the Church of Rational Truth. Today we're doing our Sunday lecture on the virtue. Sorry, I always fix my hair in the middle or in the beginning. The virtues of self denial. And what do we mean by that? Well, we are talking about being able to limit our wants or limit ourselves in terms of doing the things that give us pleasure or happiness. Why is that a good thing? Well, the example I always give to my patients of why you don't want to go unlimited with things that make you happy is the milkshake example. I usually say, would you drink a milkshake if you wanted one? Absolutely. Do you enjoy milkshakes? Yes. If you had the option to drink infinite milkshakes, would you? No. And because there's obviously negative repercussions to doing that. Would you be happier? Would you be able to, enjoy that? Absolutely yes. But it has negative repercussions. You deny yourself having infinite milkshakes because you know ultimately in the long run it's not going to be good for you. That is a practice of self denial. Honestly, most of us are probably in the place where if we wanted to go and buy infinite milkshakes, we could do so, or at least as many milkshakes as we can drink, because a lot of us have the finances to do that. It's not horribly expensive to do that, but we don't do it because it's not what's best for us. And it is virtuous to limit yourself in many regards. Now, this obviously should be taken with a grain of salt and should be balanced. I don't want to get all the way, or I don't think people should get all the way to the stereotypical Catholic extreme where, not that everyone who's Catholic does this, but the stereotype is if it feels good, don't do it. That's kind of, they take the self denial to that much extreme. So you shouldn't be enjoying anything. If you're enjoying it, it's probably a sin, it's probably bad. It's probably not to that extreme. I would say it's probably more the Japanese have a saying, eat till you're 80% full, where you can enjoy things, you can, take care of your own needs, but stop yourself before you've gone too far, before you've gotten to 100%. The American standard is to go to 120%. You're not done until you're sick and going to throw up because you've eaten too much. And that is kind of the balance you have to get with self denial, and it comes with more things than just food. I think food is the most obvious one because it's so clear cut, and because obesity is such a big issue, and that is a very difficult one to limit yourself. But it comes with everything. I would say everything has a limit where some amount of self denial. I like to use it for happiness in general and complacency, where many things that you do that can make you happy can be done to an extreme, but for most of them, you probably want to find some limit because too much, the old saying, too much of a good thing is not good. That's probably not the exact saying, but uh, work, reading, anything, alcohol, all those things, you have to be able to limit. You have to be able to not go to the extreme to maximize the theoretical amount of happiness you get out of that. Not saying you shouldn't maximize happiness or you shouldn't try to be happy, but I would say there is some virtue in complacency. There's some virtue in finding the most happiness without having to go to an extreme. So, for example, if I enjoy movies, I should be able to find as much happiness in watching a movie as possible without having to go to the extreme of always watching movies all the time. Why is it? Because usually those extreme self indulgences come with negatives. Not always. Like we always say, case by case, evaluate the positives and negatives with determining whether something's moral or immoral. But you want to start looking at that and saying, okay, at what point is this getting to the ridiculous? At what point am I causing harm? And at what point is there benefit? And honestly, each scenario is going to be different. Things like working out, there's going to be a point where it's too much, but there's also going to be a healthy point. There's also going to be an unhealthy point where we're doing too little. Eating, drugs, alcohol, relationships, socializing, anything that can give us pleasure probably has a point where we need to work on limiting it, not going too much. And there is that benefit of being able to hold yourself to complacency with less. I mean, that is a virtue. Anyone can actually hold themselves and be happy with less will probably be able to be more content with life and more happy overall. Um, Not saying you couldn't be happier with more, but something that I've learned is if I practice self denial, if I go a period without giving myself the normal luxuries I have or cutting back the luxuries, when I do indulge in those luxuries, I enjoy them much more. I get much more pleasure out of the simple things. If I indulge and I spend all my time only pampering myself, only having the best, I take those things for granted. I don't get the same joy out of those things, and it gets harder and harder to get joy. One example that I have is when I went to Nepal for 2 months. That was an extreme case of self-denial. The Everything was very limited. We could not have ice or toilet paper, and those you don't realize how much you miss those things until you go a very long period without them. That was an extreme form of self-denial. But coming back, just having a warm shower, just having a toilet that functions, toilet paper, I can't believe how much I missed ice cubes and cold drinks, but having those made me so much more appreciative and so much happy, and it gave me a sense of contentment with just having simple things. I didn't have to have a Maserati. I'm happy with a car that basically functions because I know how rough it is without having those things. So having that sense of denial, or that ability to deny myself those things that bring happiness, can help bring me contentness with the things that I do have. I will always say strive for more, try to do better, try to improve your life. But I would hope that even if I was a multi-billionaire, that I would still be able to go through periods of self-denial where I would say, heck with the mansion, heck with all these things. Let me have the simple few things that I need. Let me deny myself from all these other joys so that way I can become much more appreciative of the other things that I do have, or the lifestyle that I do have, so that I won't get stuck in this constant improving better and better, which honestly at some point runs out. You can only get so much better, and instead of chasing that dragon, like they say with drug abuse, you can just kind of sit with the things you have and be content that you have them that well. In terms of health, being able to self deny, especially with overeating, incredibly beneficial to health and longevity. If you're able to decrease total caloric intake, that is the biggest thing with living longer. Obesity is one of the biggest things that decreases lifespan, and it's one of the biggest preventable things. So being able to decrease, have that discipline, is a very good benefit, especially if your goal in life is to live as long as possible. So that is it. I hope everybody can find their balance, be able to practice self denial at times, and hopefully it will bring them overall more happiness. That is our goal, is to become happy, and sometimes you have to, kind of take things back to see how good you really do have it in life. So thank you all for listening. This is again Dr. Frank Chopatini with the Church of Rational Truth. I will see you all next week. It'll be a new month, so we'll have a financial report and another Sunday lecture. Y'all have a great day. Bye bye.